Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Afan Uranisa. In this occasion, I will explain about what is systemic functional linguistic and about review from Mr. Halliday video by the title Language Involving Some Systemic Functional Reflection on the History of Meaning. Now, I will tell about what is systemic functional linguistic. Systemic functional linguistic or SFL is a linguistic approach that aims to understand how a text forms its meaning in a context. Texts refer to all linguistic phenomena in any medium that can be understood by people who know the language used by the text. To aid its analysis, LSF divides the context in which language occur into two types. There are situational and cultural contexts. The context of the situation refers to three things in acts of language: who is involved that situation is happening, and what function does language have in that situation. Then cultural context in LSF refers to anything that members of a particular culture can use or do to make meaning. For example, through gesture, vocal qualities, facial expression, and etc. Then, systemic functional linguistics is considered to be a very applicable theory. In answering everyday linguistic problems, this theory also helps the analysis of discourse and other fields such as education in relation to language use. Now, SFL has much to offer teachers as a pedagogical approach. The integration of SFL into teacher education and continuing professional learning has been shown to have a positive impact on developing teachers' knowledge about language, their ability to instruct students by focusing on language and literacy development, and their focus on critical component of language for diverse learners. According to Halliday, systemic functional linguistics emphasizes the need to support teachers to focus on understanding how academic language work across the curriculum and grade level with students. And next, I will give my review about Mr. Halliday's videos. Broadly speaking, from Mr. Halliday's, he divides the history of language into three. The first one is history language as a system, the theory of the individual speakers, and the last is the history of each instant language of the text. Now, the first one, in history language as a system. He linked with Darwin's theory of evolution. Human language evolved the same as the human brain. How humans develop vocabularies, how humans determine a grammar, how humans translate a language, how humans express language, and the relationship of language to the sense of hearing and speak or pronunciation. The next is the history of the individual speakers. He explained about humans and their environment. Every human being is unique. They may tend to use different languages for different conditions or environment, such as between regions, formal and non-formal condition, age level, and etc. For age level, for example, children use simple and easy to understand language. Then as adults, they use language that is more organized and complex. Then the last part is the language that involves from speech to writing. Spoken language can now be written into a text and then printed, so that it's very possible to copy it, so that more other people can read and know a new knowledge or idea from someone who is even very far away. The written language has also evolved from the standard language that is usually used in writing books the printed books to the slang language used by humans, for example in social media. That's, that's all my review. Knowing the history of language and its development makes us grateful for the intelligence of the human brain and human social intelligence that God has given us so that we will continue learn various languages as science because without knowledge it's like without light in the darkness. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.